2, 3. Yeah, that's way better. All right. Woo! Hey, you guys. Welcome back to the Sis I Love You podcast. I am your host, Ruthytolenbusiness, and here we talk about women growing through our 20s. Whether it's the simpler things or something a little bit more complex, this is the place to be. So, one conversation at a time, we are getting better and better. I had to adjust the lighting, you guys. It was kind of harsh on my skin. But anywho, I know you're probably getting ready for 2025, but it is still 2024, and this is how you're going to finish your year strong. So we're going to go over a few strategies that I feel like helps me significantly and you. It's some things that I worked on even within my reflection, just noticing how it could propel you to the next step. So with further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I want to call this episode fourth quarter pressure, because a lot of times in the fourth quarter is typically where a team would either lose their faith or make a crazy comeback. And regardless to if you are winning or if you feel that you aren't in the best position based on what your goals are, I want you to know that you can still finish strong. It's just like when someone's working out. I notice like a lot of my friends are athletes, and when we go running, I hate running, by the way. But when we go running, I notice that they go hard when it comes to like going across the finish line. Me, because I don't like running, I be like, whew, child, slay. Like I really be just like, I strut through it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like now when I'm doing something or I'm working out, it's how I used to be. But now when I'm working out and I'm doing something, I make sure my last few sets are the hardest that I ever went. I try to give it all that I have in the tank. And I know that sometimes there's parts of you who wants to just like half do the last few sets. Or, okay, well, this year ain't turned out how I expected it to, but how can I be better next year? Girl, the year is still here, and whether you believe it or not, your life can literally change like that. You gotta have crazy faith. A lot of times you have to go through and assess what your goals are. And I like to break my goals up into 12 weeks, like each quarter. So in these 3 months, I'm gonna do this. These 3 months, I'm gonna do this. These 3 months, I'm gonna do this. And these 3 months, I'm gonna do that. And it ultimately leads me to an all-encompassing end goal that I'm looking for the rest of the year, right? So what I want you to do is set a quarterly goal. Look at the goals that you have. Look at the ones that you feel are still achievable, that are within like your doing or whatnot. And I want you to go to those and you want to say, okay, these are the goals that I have for these next 3 months. This is what I can do. Let's just say it's to lose 5 or 10 pounds. Okay, so how are we going to break that down? Now, that is very controllable. I could pull the card and be like, oh, well, my goal is to be the healthy, fittest, blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to actually get really specific here. Like, oh, I want to finish 2 books before the end of the year is out. A book on average is 360 pages. You read 10 books a day, you can actually get 3 books done in 12 weeks. 10 pages a day, you can actually get, if you read 10 pages a day, you can actually get like 3 books done in those 12 weeks. But that's besides the point. Because right now what we're doing is we're going to hound in on our short-term focus. Like, you're going to have to be able to like keep it in front of you day by day. I want you to focus on your day by day focus. This is not necessarily for you to be hypercritical of yourself, but more of for you to be a lot more attentive of what it is that you're doing. Another example, like if your goal is to change your career path, right? What you're going to do is you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go to 2 happy hours a month. I'm going to become a regular here, or I'm going to go to 2 networking events a month, or I'm going to go to 2 happy hours a week. And that's going to be something that's measurable. Like, hey, yeah, I know I'm putting in the effort. I'm doing exactly what I need to do. I'm putting myself in front of people, as well as allowing people to come to me and show me, we talk about their careers, and I get to learn more about what it is that I truly am doing and what it is that I want to do and how I could get there. I'm having meaningful conversations. So while you are focused on these short-term and small actionable things that you can do on a day-to-day basis, the number one thing that you're going to be relying on is your consistency and your ability to show up. And you're going to show up for yourself every single day, as much as possible, as often as you can. And sometimes you just gonna have to lock in. Like, it's like, I can't coddle you guys and be like, you don't give yourself grace. And it's like, no, like, we lock it in. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take whatever those goals are that you chose, and we're gonna pound at them, and we're gonna literally do whatever it is that you can do in order to achieve that goal. So the next thing you're going to do is focus on the more analytical side of these goals. In the first step, we set something really specific for ourselves, and we focused on just daily habits, right? So now we're going to be tracking these goals and like, what progress are we making to it? And the way you're going to actually track your goal is track the habits that you set for yourself earlier on, right? So that means, okay, I wanted to lose 10 pounds. I need to do XYZ movement every single day. I need to work out every single or 5 days a week, and I need to eat 120 grams of protein at least 5 days of the week. So let's just say that's the goal. So that means, how many days did I eat 120 grams of protein? How many days have I worked out? How many days have I done what it is that I needed to do to achieve this goal? If you are on track, you're on track. Now, whether that is a personal goal or a financial goal, it's trackable. And while we're in the realm of being analytical, I want you to perform, you know, what most people call a SWOT analysis, but really just seeing what your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats are. I'm just using this because it's a good example, and honestly, I'm on my own fitness journey. But let's say, what are your strengths? Okay, my strengths is I can cook really good, and I know how to make something high protein. I'm always the type of person who's going to show up for a workout whether I feel like it or I don't. I'm going to work out, but it may not be da-da-da. What are my weaknesses? My weaknesses, I like cake. I like sweets. I have a sweet tooth. What's another weakness? I won't give it my all during the workout. Like, I'll show up poorly, even though I showed up. What are some opportunities? Oh, okay, well, I need to pick up. I have an opportunity because I'm interested in this hobby and I like this type of thing. And then another, what's a threat? Me not setting my schedule out ahead of time. Because now I'm free flowing throughout the day. And if I'm tired, auntie tired, okay? So that's one thing. And then another one is just like, say for instance, if I have trouble managing my time, I may need to delegate tasks to people. I may need to outsource someone who will do this. If cleaning my house takes too long and it overwhelms me, I may need to hire a housekeeper. If I can record the videos and get in front of there, but I have a really hard time editing and staying focused when it's time to edit, I may need an editor, you know? So it just depends on what it is for you. But a lot of times you have to be self-aware enough to know where you're weak at, right? And once you figure out what your weaknesses and your strengths are, you build your habits upon that. Lastly, I would not be me if I did not talk about your emotional health, your emotional and mental health. Now, I do not want you to drive yourself into the ground, even though this is a time where you're quite honestly locking in. You just gotta lock in, but not at the cost of yourself and losing yourself. I would say, make sure you have someone holding you accountable. When you have an accountability partner or something that you tie to your goals, it helps a lot. And I know sometimes it's not easy finding an accountability partner. But that's also why it's important to have people around you with similar goals. And if you don't even have that, this is like, for instance, I'm going to use working out. Join a club. Like, people are going to ask you, oh, so what's your goal with this? You'd be like, for instance, let's say you want to read a book. Oh, I want to finish this book. Now you join a book club that's currently reading this book right now. Now you have something holding you accountable. They're going to ask you, oh, how was the book? What chapter are you on? What's this? What's that? That's holding you accountable. Let's say your goal is to make sure you do your devotions at least every day, or do Bible study once or twice a week. You find someone, or you join a church, or you have a homegirl who also is wanting to do Bible study and grow her relationship with God. And now that's going to hold you accountable, because it's like, okay, well, yeah, I need to show up for this person. We supposed to have Bible study every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. I'm just giving like 2 or 3 examples. Working out, instead of you just working out on your own, start going to boot camp classes. Start join ClassPass and keep going and keep showing up. Eventually, you're going to see people there all the time who are pretty much regulars, and you're going to end up becoming a regular. And when you don't show up, if you don't show up, they're going to ask you next time you come, oh, what happened last week? I didn't see you, or I missed you. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to make sure you put yourself in a space where you're able to be held accountable. Like I said, I know it's not necessarily always easy to have an accountability partner, because I do know sometimes, it's just us in the season of getting ourselves together. But sometimes you just got to do it for you. And that's just the gist of it. The next thing I want you to do is to review and adjust weekly. And I would say this one is kind of tricky, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to start seeing results with whatever it is that you do. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more time, but sometimes you do have to look and be like, hey, is this actually beneficial towards my goal? Is this working for me? Can I do this? And if you know it's something that's not necessarily within your reach, adjust, figure out something that's better for you. Like right now, I'm on the 75 hard challenge, and you have to work out twice a day. Going to the gym 5 a.m. every day, that was not going to work for me. So sometimes it's like, oh, okay, well, I actually want to do a walk through the city, or I may work out at the gym nearby my home, opposed to me going to this world-class gym that I like going to. And lifting weights every day is just not ideal. So it's like, okay, I'm going to lift heavy 2 times a week, but I'm not necessarily going to strain myself to go pump iron 5 a.m. every day a week. Like, that's not sustainable for me. I tried it. I got burnt out very quickly, but now I'm still getting 2 workouts in a day, but I just did something that works better for me. And the last thing I want you to do for your emotional and mental well-being is celebrate yourself. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. Like, a lot of times I think we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of things that we forget the whole idea of this is for us to enjoy the experience and live life, quite honestly. And how do you live life if you don't celebrate? I think that we forget how important it is to celebrate ourselves and give yourself flowers and really just enjoy the process. Like, yeah, it's the end of the year and we're looking to hit some goals and do what it is that we need to do. When you're making obvious progress towards those goals, be thankful that you've made progress. It doesn't leave you necessarily. So you're doing what you need to do, sis. And this is how you're going to finish the year out strong. I want you to break your year up into quarters. Find the goals that are doable within your willpower. Hammer at it and track those goals. And lastly, take care of your emotional and mental health while doing so. The year is not over. Your life can literally change tomorrow, next year, the next minute, in 2 weeks. It could change at any moment. Your life can literally change at any moment. And I want you to understand that just because the year changes doesn't mean that you have lost the window for change. You don't have to scrap out all your goals. You don't have to think that you are a failure. You just get back up and you try again. You get back up and you try again over and over, because eventually you will win. Sometimes you have to be persistent, consistent, disciplined, and just have delayed gratitude. And remember, it's never too late to make this the best year of your life. I love you, sis, and we'll talk next time.